Alright, and before we get into upgrading these springs, I want to talk about lifting in general on Astro vans. Now, you're going to see a lot of people that are like, they claim they need like 5-6 inches of lift. And what you'll find is those dudes typically live in the Southwest where off-road trails are everywhere. And most importantly, they typically don't need to drive very long distances to get to those trails. For this build, I'm not building, the ultimate off-road Astro. What I'm trying to build is something that can still drive on the highway really nicely, which, two things about that. You don't really want to go much bigger than 29-inch tires with this stock motor, because this thing, this Astro in general, this whole platform, even when it was the first gen with the more wedge front end, this was designed in the 80s when there was a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. Now that the speed limit is 65 and 75 in some places, if you put 30s or 31s or 32s on an already underpowered car with the aerodynamics of a brick, it's going to suck. I mean, like a small incline, you're going to struggle at highway speeds. So in my eyes, a lot of people ruin their Astros. They see these Instagram builds with like huge tires and massive lifts, and they're like, yeah, that's badass, I'm going to do it. And you talk to those dudes, and they're going to say it's great. And when they only have to travel 30 miles, maybe it is. But if you want to drive a few states away, you're going to have a bad time, man. So originally when I built this thing, again, 3-inch lift, 29s, still highway capable. The reason that I'm even upgrading my springs, like I was pretty content with this thing, is that when I was towing the back Astro, which is in here, it kept rubbing when I hit bumps. So I wanted a little more lift in back and a little more stiffness. And I did not put in the HD springs. If you're towing something heavy all the time, you probably want the S10 HD ones. I'm not doing that all the time. I just needed a little bit more lift, like an inch. And my stock leaf packs were pretty much flat when they were installed in the vehicle. So everywhere online, it doesn't matter, forums or Facebook groups, S10 Springs were told to be a 3 to 4 inch lift. And again, that's not what happened. We'll get into that now. Okay, so if you saw my video where I towed back the back Astro, I was bottoming out a lot on the highway. My factory leaf springs are pretty much shot. When I look underneath the van, they're almost flat. So the arch is gone from those factory leaves. That's pretty normal. This van has 100,000 miles on it, and typically springs kind of only last that long. These are uprated. These are actually from a Chevy S10. I forget where I got these. I think it was called Dakota Spring or something. I'll put a link down in the description where I bought these. This was the best deal I could find for them. But they're 3 leaves with the short leaf on the bottom, so it's called a 3+1 spring. These are going to be a lot stiffer than the factory Astro springs, which should help me carry more weight for the tongue weight of that back Astro project. They also have a lot more arch to them, which will give me additional lift. Now, I don't really want too much more lift because the front's already lifted and the van sits pretty level. So what I'm hoping to do is I have an adjustable shackle on the back, and hoping we can use one of the sets of holes in there to even it out. The other thing that I'm hoping is that on the freeway and just general drivability, having a stiffer rear end should help it corner a bit nicer. Shouldn't quite feel so vanish. But yeah, I'm going to be dropping this off at Auto Brake Clutch and Gear in Milwaukee. Excited about this. I've been putting this off for a while, but yeah, we're going to pull the trigger because we have some big plans coming soon. Kind of top secret right now, but this van needs to be roadworthy. Alright dudes, I just picked the van up and not super stoked. I'll show you what I mean. Now before I show you the rear end, I do want to talk about the front end. This has a Journey's 2-inch puck lift kit, and I've cranked the torsion bars. And you don't want to overcrank them. I hear it makes the van ride terrible. But what I cranked them up a little bit to get about 3 inches of lift in total, which nicely centered the wheel in the wheel well. So I was told by pretty much everyone on the entire internet that S10 springs are about 3 to 4 inches of lift, which would mean that an S10 spring would be about even with the front end if you had the stock shackles. So this should be about even. Let's look at it. Does that look even to you guys? Yeah, this looks stupid as hell. I'm pretty pissed off. So when I had them install these springs, I originally had these Journeys Offroad extended shackles, and they were so high that my pretty expensive Bilstein shocks didn't even fit. So what they did is they ordered the stock shackles, which you'll see here. There's the stock shackles, and it's still obnoxiously high, so high that the, again, quite expensive Bilstein shocks didn't reach. So now I have some Monroe, just generic kind of garbage shocks in here, which I'm not real happy about. And look at that. I mean, the internet said 3 to 4 inches lift. Let's see what this is. I don't know what the stock ride height was, but right now I have, it's 6 inches from the top of my fender well to the top of the tire. 6 freaking inches. Now we'll go here. Remember, this is a 3-inch lift. Have about 2.5 inches. So if these were stock size tires, you'd see about 3 inches of wheel gap in back, and then there is literally double that here. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I'm honestly really pissed off. I have a 3,000 mile road trip in a few weeks, and this van looks absolutely ridiculous, and it's so raked that when you lay in the back it feels like you're in a recliner. I don't know what I'm gonna do right now. I mean, I could potentially pull the leaf springs and remove one of the leaves, or I could get drop shackles, which I think I'm leaning toward right now. If I got a lowering shackle that was shorter than the stock shackle, that would be an easy change. So yeah, not super geeked. The other thing they had to do when they installed this was change the Swaybar end links. You can see them here. They were no longer really correct with this much lift, so they've added a pipe, a galvanized pipe, an extended drop link for that Swaybar. So yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. Not very happy. 6 inches of wheel gap, double what's in front. So I'm gonna try to crank the front torsion bars a little bit, see if I can bring the front up. But I think I'm gonna order some drop shackles for the rear. So here are the lowering shackles. I don't know how well this is gonna work because they kind of look longer than what's in there now. I think it's the right width. These are longer. I don't really understand how these are lowering shackles at all. I don't get that at all. What I want to do is try to shorten the distance between the mount to the body and the leaf spring, and these are not going to do it. So that sucks. I've read that you could try to undersling the axle, but I mean that's going to be a 3-inch drop. I don't think I want that. I need like a 2-inch drop, really. Ah, this sucks. This sucks. Okay, so that means the only option is raising the front. So let's see if we can make that happen. Alright, I just took it for a test drive to help it settle a little bit after cranking those torsion springs, and this is what I got. So you can see there's now quite a bit more gap in front. Some people on Facebook were saying that they think that my van has a rotted subframe or that the front wasn't even lifted. Again, it's just because these fender flares, dudes. Like these, the fender stops here, but the flare comes out and goes down. And I kind of like the wheel centered in the wheel arch. Now it's going to be, you know, it's a little higher. I can live with that, I guess, but the back is still way too high. I don't really know what else to do to lower the back end of this thing, other than pulling the leaves and maybe cutting one and reassembling it. I don't want to do that, though. That sounds like a lot of messing around. So if anyone has any ideas on a quick, easy way to lower this a couple inches, let me know. Again, people kept asking to want to see the brackets. I mean, it's completely stock right there, and completely stock right there. This is the 22687 S10 Spring. It's not the HD. It's not anything weird. So yeah, this is like 7 inches of frickin' space, boys. I can literally put my head in here. So to anyone who says S10 Springs only lift your van 3 to 4 inches, you're frickin' wrong, dudes. I really wish you would quit, you know, spreading misinformation, because that is not 3 to 4 inches. This is like 6 to 7 inches. So